Welcome, Chandra, to the PerFinEx podcast. You are the co-founder of Destination Germany. For everyone who doesn't know Destination Germany or doesn't know you yet, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Axel. Thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast. I'm super excited to be here. So, Destination Germany is an international recruiting company founded in 2021. So, I, along with my business partner Vincent, we started Destination Germany in order to help immigrants transform their lives by giving them the opportunity to come to Germany for getting a job and also living here long term. And this is what we help on a core level for the companies and for the candidates, international immigrants. And for the companies, what we are also trying to help is to help them get the employees from all over the world, because as you know, Germany is the market where it's facing a huge shortage in the talents. No matter what, like every day you see the news that okay, Fachkräftemangel, which is shortage of talents, that's what we are seeing. And with the help of modern ways of recruiting, we are bringing back the companies to the time where they had enough applicants. And we do this with social media recruiting and running the campaigns in different social media platforms and help them to get the employees. So yeah, this is a short intro about Destination Germany, and I'm super excited to talk about you on different topics which can be a great help for immigrants looking to come to Germany for the job.
We came in contact from your LinkedIn post where you mentioned that you get like an average 80K salary if you work in these min fields with 10 years of experience here in Germany. And you mentioned in your LinkedIn post yourself that it sounds low compared to other countries like the US, for example. And I must admit, when reading this for the very first time, I was surprised as well, because 80,000 euros, it's a good salary, don't get me wrong. But with 10 years of experience in the mint fields, which is apparently the highest earning fields, it sounds low to me too.
Yeah. So the main intention behind while I was writing this post is that I didn't want to be really optimistic, So because yes, I know personally many people who are having 10 plus years of experience and earning 150K above. So there are a lot of like examples there, but I didn't want to take only the small amount of people, right? When giving the example, that will give a wrong impression for the people who are getting the job or like want to get the job. So with my experience on an average, so we have hired about 4 to 5 international employees with between 7 to 10 years of experience. And in the Mittelstand companies, and Mittelstand companies, for people who don't know, is the SMEs, right? So small and medium scale companies. And this is the economic driver of Germany. If people who don't know, like 65 to 75% of German economy runs with these companies. So you can imagine that the amount of companies that are present in Germany. And for these companies, and that's where we hired 4 to 5 people from different parts of the world, the average salary is between 60 and 90K. And so, like I said, the experience level is between 7 to 10 years or also 12 years. And this is the average that we saw. So when you check out this number, you might feel that, okay, wow, in the US, the average is about, if you have 10 plus years of experience or 8 plus years of experience, is, I don't know, maybe 120K. So it is definitely true, I would say, because I have also so many friends in the US who has 120K. But the level of social security that you get here in Germany is unimaginable or like uncomparable to what you get in the US, right? So keeping 80K, which is not a very optimistic number when it comes to the salary, but it's a pessimistic number and very much easily achievable number. I would say that this is the area that you can look into, and when you get an opportunity with 80K, then you know that this is the right way to go forward. 80K is a very good salary for Germany to have a really good life.
That's true, yeah. And you mentioned you bring a lot of people from outside Germany into Germany.
That's correct.
With a range of, you helped hundreds of people with like 60 to 90K is like the range you've given. How does this compare with the salaries that these people have back in their home country?
That's a really good question. So To be honest, like the salaries in their home, I mean, each and every country have their own ranges, right? So for example, if I take India as an example, then there the salaries that they were earning was between 20 to 35k euros, of course in there in the
Mm-hmm.
Indian rupees, but that was the range that they were earning. And so also in India and other developing countries, if the people are working in the international companies or the US companies, then the salaries are also really high there. So this is something that I also got to know very recently. It could be that the US salaries can be earned even by living in India. So that's what I know. But yeah, that's a really eye-opening thing, to
Okay.
be honest. Like it's not that I'm saying it's the majority of the population, but yes, there are people who are earning US salaries living in India. Um, so I mean, to be honest, like when you some people ask that, okay, is it also interesting for them to come to Germany? If you only take out the financial perspective, then yes, it's not the case, right? So if your only thing to achieve is to get rich by coming to a different country, then that's not going to happen in Germany, right? So that's for taken for granted. But the other aspects that you get by living in Germany is completely mind blowing. So for me, what I really like about is that the level of peace that I have when I am living in Germany. So I don't have to take care about my health, because I mean, it's not that I don't want to work out or whatnot. So I don't have to worry about my health expenses when I'm living in
Yeah.
Germany, right? So it's all covered. I don't have to worry about my pension when I'm 67 years old. I don't have to worry that, okay, I have to make huge amounts of savings so that I can make a living. So I don't have to worry about my children's education because it's free, or like close to free, because I heard from many of the Germans saying that, hey, you might have to pay some of the courses, which is an additional course. So there is that aspect is there. But if you just talking about pure education with the basic education, then it's free, right? So that's for granted. So when these aspects come into play, I feel like, to me, that, okay, wow, this is something where I see myself in the long term when compared to living in a developing country where there are so much uncertainties. So this is how I can answer your question. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, yeah. Well, what interests me is I have a friend who is in working in big tech in Silicon Valley, and he earns like 150, 250K. It's also difficult to say, right? Because
Sure.
in big tech, you don't just get salary. I think you have to account for total
Yeah.
compensation with company stocks and everything. But
Mhm.
in Silicon Valley, they earn big money
Yeah.
compared to
Sure.
here. But the living expenses are also extreme when he tells
100%.
me about rents and
Mhm.
everything. So
Yeah.
strictly financially looking at it, Germany, you said 60, 90K, average right around 80K. Compared to India, you said 20,
Yeah.
25,
With
30K,
with this
something like this.
experience, when you take the average, yes, it's about 25 to 35, you can say.
Where would you say do you earn more compared to the living costs?
When we take these two amounts into consideration, right?
Yeah, Germany and India, yeah.
With these salaries. So I think even with this 25 to 35,000 euros, when you take into consideration the pure expenses, I think in India you can live way below than is required. So what I'm saying is that the bandwidth of your expense can be extremely in two different like places in India, and that is not true in Germany. So what I mean, that you can have a life in India even having 200 euros per month as an expenses, compare, and you can also have your life by spending, I don't know, 3,000 euros every month. So you can make it happen in India, but that's not possible in Germany. You have to have a minimum money to make your decent living in Germany. So this is what I can say.
Yeah.
So it highly depends on you personally, I would say. If you are someone who can live frugally, you can make it happen in India. But here, I think it's not possible. But again, like, why people might also go frugality in India is because there are so many uncertainties which is not in their control, right? So if health goes down, they have to take care of paying huge expenses on the hospitals. If for the education, I mean, you believe it or not, like Indian parents spend, if I'm remembering right, about 30 to 40% of their savings on the education of their children. Maybe I'm wrong with this number, but it's a huge percentage. So those things don't come into play in Germany. So there are many variables, I would say, that comes into picture. It's all depends on what you want in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Very similar to the US then, where people
Mhm.
graduate from college and they have like 6 digit of
Yeah.
college debt, and they work for the first 10 years to pay this off.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's
So
completely insane. And also like the hospital expenses, I hear from my friends, what they say is that yes, we earn a lot here, and but want to go back to India before I reach 40, because after 40 all the expenses start, and it does not make sense for me to live in the US because I anyways end up paying a lot of bills to the hospital. That's what they say to me.
yeah, I think what you mentioned, you have a really valid point here that if you just compare gross salaries or total compensations,
Mhm.
or you say the net salary in Germany is so low, which is true, right? There's
Sure,
a lot of,
100%.
so if you look at the payslip, it looks very bad. If you
100%.
look at it, if you compare gross to net, but you get a lot of benefits, which kind of increase your net salary because you don't have to pay for it privately.
Exactly. Exactly. That's definitely the point. So what people don't see when they see these numbers like brutto and net, or gross and net salaries while living in their home country, is that wow, I have to pay 45% taxes or 43% taxes. So what is hidden in there is that in those taxes, about 15 to 19% is the actual tax. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong on this topic. And the other percentage that you're paying is the social security that you're paying, and not the taxes that you're paying. Like there is no income tax that you're paying. Like all 45% is not income tax. And when you take this, like leave the 19% and take the remaining percentage, what are you paying is with the your unemployment tax, your health insurance, your like the pension insurance, and the fliege insurance. So these are the four taxes that you're paying, right? I mean, if you think about it, what in anyone's life, these are the four things that goes down when you are leaving somewhere, or like when you are leaving, right? So you might lose the job, you'll definitely reach to a point where you become old, which is 67 years old, and then you things can go wrong with your health. And these are the black swan events, or like the black swan events one will have in their life, and that is all secured here. So just to give a short story of my personal story, like in the first 1 to 2 years of my employment in Germany, I was also thinking, wow, man, I pay so much of taxes and the health insurances and whatnot. Is it making sense to me? Like, I just had this thought, because it comes to anyone and everyone. There is no
Y-
doubt about it, right?
Me
So
too. Yeah.
exactly, it's that's the case. And then in 2019, I got a surgery for my shoulder, because my shoulder got dislocated, right? And then when what happened is that, like, I went to diagnosis, and then they said that, hey, there is a major problem, you have to get the surgery done. And they gave me the appointment to get the surgery done. It was a process of about 4 months where I could not able to work. The surgery was painful. And then after my surgery, like they did this what do you call this, like after the surgery,
Reha, like
rehabilitation. So there was 3 months of rehabilitation. And in that 4 months, I was ready and back to work, kind of. So but in these 4 months, if I was in India, then let me share with you what all will happen. First of all, I will be paying huge amount of money for the operation. And then I won't be getting salary for those 4 months, because it's a health problem and it's my problem. And then it could be that since it's a 4 months, I might have to look for a new job, because for 4 months, there is no crazy loss in India. It's completely out of mind for you to think or like to know this, but it is true. It is the facts there. But nothing happened for me here, right? So
yeah,
I
this can't happen. Yeah,
this
this
can
would be super illegal if the
exactly.
employer fires you in case of
Yeah.
sickness or illness. Yeah.
Also, I'm not saying that this is true for every companies, so please don't get me wrong. There are also good companies where they take care of you in India as well, but there is no law in place saying that, okay, if you are away for 4 months, then there is no law saying that you can fire, or like you should not fire the employee. They can do it. It's not that mandatory, but they can do it. So keep. in this 4 months, right? So I didn't have to pay a single euro because I'm health insured. Literally every German who is living in Germany is health insured, so I didn't have to pay. I got the treatment in like this rehabilitation treatment for 3 months in a 5-star kind of hotel. It's a
No.
hotel where like every morning I just have to go at 9 a.m. They do one after the other the pros or like the different types of therapies, and then I come back and rest. So this is for 3 months that was happening. And if the same thing was happening in India, then I would have to, maybe I would have even be bankrupt, I guess. I don't know if I wanted such a kind of service. And then I was getting paid like 60 to 65% of my salary, right? So these things are unimaginable. That's why I'm saying, like, until you reach to a point where you face these problems, you feel like, okay, why am I doing this? But when you have a family, when things can go south in everyone's life, this is the safety net that you'll be having when you are living in Germany.
You are right. People think that's also what we read in our comments, because we make a lot of tax videos, right? And then we get a lot of messages and DMs on Instagram, and people think that in Germany you pay 42 or sometimes 45% taxes.
Ceiling,
but
right?
people, but people don't realize, and that I just opened it. So you do pay 45% taxes, but only if you make more than 277,000 euros taxable income, not gross salary. So you're very well in the 0.1-2% or something in Germany, because the top 1% make, I think, a little over 150K, something like this, and that would be twice as much.
Yeah, true.
And I just typed into the official tax calculator of Germany. If you are single this year and make 80K taxable income, not even gross salary, but taxable income, you would pay the maximum tax rate of 42%, but your average tax rate is almost exactly 30%. And if you are married and make 80K, you're not even paying the maximum of 42, you pay maximum 33%.
Exactly.
And your average tax rate will be 19.5%.
Yeah, so this is the income tax, right?
Exactly, which is very far away. 19% is very far away from the 42% that most people think they're paying.
But I mean, in this 42%, it's both income tax and the social security tax, right? It's not only
42% would be the maximum income tax rate you pay after taxable income of, let's say, 63,000 euros.
No, but this 42%, does it also include the taxes for social security or no?
That comes on top.
On top of that?
Yeah, that comes on top, yeah. But if you would have an average tax rate of 42%, that you have, I don't know, again, make like $250,000 or something like this.
Okay, got it.
Because there's a difference between the average tax rate and the maximum tax rate.
Okay, got it. So with this example, with this 80K, the taxes that you're paying with the married and 2 children is 19%, right? Like 19.5%.
Yeah, and there's not even children included in this. You're just married.
Yeah, okay. Then
so
if you're
with children, this, I don't know, goes maybe down to 17, 15% or something like this. Yeah.
So just as an FYI, I think this is the main point. It feels like to me that where the misinformation, I mean, I don't even say misinformation, but it is true, but it's very true for a very small percentage of people, and you don't come to that category of people.
Yeah. And then the social security would come on top, which you mentioned, unemployment insurance.
Yeah. So health insurance.
Where you didn't get the money, right? You got when you were sick, you got the money from the health insurance, right?
No, that's only for 1 month. So company pays only for 1 month, and then after that, it's the rent.
Krankengeld from.
Yeah, Krankengeld, I guess. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So for the first 6 weeks, 42 days.
Exactly.
It's the employer. He continues paying 100% of your salary, which is already quite some time.
Perfect. Yeah.
And then afterwards, you receive Krankengeld, which is, if I remember correctly, either 90% of your net salary or 70% of your gross salary from public, from the public health insurance. They compare the two numbers and pay whatever is lower. And for the private health insurance, you can select what you would like to have.
Okay, got it. Interesting. Yeah, I think, as I'm publicly insured, so I don't know which one they used, but yeah, that's how it was calculated, I guess.
And then unemployment insurance pays also for quite some time, but only if you get fired, right? Not if you resign yourself.
Exactly. That's correct. If
And
I
then,
resign myself, then I don't get it, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's
And
correct.
then the fourth one is
Fliege, right? Like
public pension. Yeah,
yeah.
care insurance.
Care
Yes, yeah,
insurance.
care insurance. Yeah, in case you cannot basically
Work, right?
yeah,
Like
how
if
would you
I'm
say?
if I'm
Yeah,
behindered.
work, and you yeah, exactly, like disabled, old, and you cannot basically go grocery shopping or
Yeah.
dress
Okay.
yourself or wash yourself or something like this. Then you get somebody to
That's the
help
one.
you in these
Yeah.
basic activities. Yeah.
Mm,
And last one is the German public pension.
exactly. Yeah. Those
And
are
then
the
there's a
four things.
fifth one.
Mm,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. That was the four things that I was mentioning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a fifth one, which many employees don't know, but me being an employer, I know
Mm.
the accident insurance,
Ah,
because that
interesting.
one is only paid by employers and not
Okay.
by the employee. So this basically comes as a complete benefit to employees.
Wow, interesting. I didn't know this.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it's different than the private accident insurance because it only pays while you're doing work stuff. So
Ah,
not in
okay,
your
okay.
private life.
Got it. And what's it called in German?
Gesetzliche Unfallversicherung.
Okay, got it.
So public
Public
accident
accident
insurance.
insurance. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Cool.
And you get other stuff, right? That's on top of the salary. You get vacation, like
Mm,
20 days, or some people get
sure,
30
of
days.
course.
That's completely different than it would be in the US.
Yeah,
You get
that's correct.
parental leave and all of
Mm,
this. All of this is included in the net salary, which I think many people forget.
true, that's correct. Yeah. I mean, they only see the financial aspect of it, but they don't see the other aspects, which is not at all true in the other countries, I guess.
Yeah. Your LinkedIn punchline is moving to Germany has transformed my life. So what do you think, Chandra? Is it obviously, but do you think it's a good idea for people to come to Germany and work here?
Sure. So, being honest here, before starting Destination Germany, I've tried out 5 to 6 different businesses and all by myself, and none of them took off because either I lacked the motivation to pursue with the idea that I had in the past, or I could not able to be persistent with those ideas. So for me, like by heart, I think of myself that I'm an entrepreneur, and that comes to me because I come from a business background. So I've seen my parents and my grandparents running the businesses. Maybe majority of the things are coming from there, I guess. But also for me, since the beginning, I always had the passion to do something for many people and also help people. Uh, the story of Destination Germany and why I decided to start build Destination Germany together with Vincent Ram, who is the co-founder of Destination Germany, is that I really believe that my life transformed in a very positive way when I moved from India to Germany. And you may be thinking, why is this the case? Right? So the thing is, when you leave your home country and move to a different country, the amount of new experiences that you have, the amount of different kinds of people that you meet is unimaginable, right? So the amount of difficulties that you face, the way how you try to navigate your life, it's completely out of the world, and
Hmm.
you can only experience them if you leave your comfort zone and come to a different country. I don't even take Germany as an example. Yes, I'm living in Germany, I have a lot of experience living in Germany, that's why I'm sharing this thing to the world and promoting people to come to Germany. But in general, leaving your home country and leaving going to a different country and make your living is completely different ball game, I feel. And this is what I want to provide to as many people as possible, right? So I don't care if they come to Germany or go to a different country. At the end of the day, your life gets transformed if you leave your comfort zone and go to a different country. Like I said, the amount of different kinds of cultural background people you meet, it just opens your mind, right? So you just become open minded, you just become more persistent in your life, you just become more stronger, you become unshakable, more or less, in a way. And these are the positive effects that I saw when I moved to Germany. And it only happens if you reflect very often on your life and what is happening in your life. And I am someone who reflects a lot on everything that happens in my life, and this reflection is what made me realize that, okay, wow, this is so true, and I want to promote as many people as possible to experience the same thing, and that is my core motivation. Yes, with a business you make money and you also grow the team, that's the different ball game. But my daily motivation, why I feel like getting up in the morning and want to take care of the task, is this one. This is what drives me, and that's why, that's the tagline, and I'm being super honest here, and that's really the one which motivates me on the daily basis, and that's what I want to, or we want to do as Destination Germany, to as many people as possible.
That's the reason why I love working with expats too, because
Mhm.
I started as a financial advisor for Germans and didn't really like it.
Okay.
But I admire that. I mean, you came here new language, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not that many people that speak English outside of
Sure.
maybe Berlin and
Mm,
Frankfurt and Munich, that big cities.
that's true.
New food, new culture, contracts that are printed out all in German
Yeah.
and everything. This is like I admire this, to come to basically the other side of the world and
Mm,
start completely new.
yeah. So this is definitely something which everyone needs to be honest, I would say, experience, because this will just uh, when that happens to many people, I feel that we live in a better world than where we are now. That's my long term, or like the macro perspective I'm seeing, because when you do this, you become the person who is more kinder, you become the person who is more open minded. And when, just imagine the world where everyone is like this, right? So, and this can be the path and one of the things that can help you to become such a person, I guess.
Hmm. What do you think? I think Germany moves into the right. We have a lot to do
Yeah.
in that regard, but I think at least living in Munich for little over 10 years now.
Mhm.
When I came here, moving to Munich, but I am German, they even said, you're not a real Munich person until you're living here in your seventh generation or something stupid
Okay.
like this. And I'm German, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think at least Munich, which is usually very closed and very conservative, I think we've gotten a lot better from accepting people from different cultures.
Mhm. Yeah, that's correct. So basically, just to add on that, I would say that if you compare to, I was in the US like 2 years back, it feels like to you that there are more immigrants, and it is true actually, of course, right? So you see a lot of immigrants living there, and of course that is the biggest country with highest number of immigrants. And I was also sharing this in one of my LinkedIn posts. Surprisingly, Germany is the second country which has the highest number of immigrants. um, so in the first look, it feels like to you that okay, it's very close, Germany is very close. But to be honest, after living here, it feels like to me that yeah, Germans are really open, because just the data itself says to you, right? Like, okay, when there are more immigrants, this means that they have, like, Germans have the mindset to accept more and more different kinds of talents. Yes, there is still work needs to be done, I guess, but I feel that at least Germany is going in the right direction when it comes to attracting the immigrants.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
so beneficial for us too, because there's studies from the World Bank and everything that people who come from a, let's say, poorer economic background, like
Hmm.
from the developing world, if
Yeah.
they come to the developed world, they actually have a lot of, like yourself, I think you're a very good example for this.
Hmm.
They have a lot of drive, they have
Yeah.
a lot of motivation, and they bring a lot of entrepreneurial activity that maybe us people that grown up in the West, we
Yeah.
lack. But you bring it here, and then suddenly there's a lot of um, personal and financial and job security, so you can actually develop this entrepreneurial activity too. So I think that's
100%.
very good for Germany if more and more people like you would come here.
Sure, I think so too. So just to add one point to that, I was also watching one of the videos from Elon Musk, and he was talking about something related to the policies in the US, where he was telling that to the US government, hey, you have to do something in order to keep all the students who come to study here in the US, and make sure that you provide the job, you provide the opportunities that is required for them, and don't let them go back to their home country without providing the opportunities. And what he was backing up it with is that on an average in the US, every immigrant provides job opportunities for 6 US citizens, it seems. So that's the average. Of course, like if you take It's an average, right? It's not a median or something, but that's what he was telling, like that's that asset for the country. So make sure that you give opportunities for them so that they stay in the US. So I think that same data holds true for any of the developed countries, right? So if they try to attract more immigrants, so the amount of difficulties that people face in the developing countries is only they know it, so as soon as they leave the country and come to a different part of the world, the things that German takes for granted, or like any people living in the developed country takes for granted, each of them is something which they wished for when people coming from the development. So just to give a small example, like for Germans, 24/7 electricity is taken for granted, right? So if 1 minute if the power is cut, everyone goes crazy. Wow, what's happening? Or everyone freaks out, you know.
Yeah,
But
that's what we're currently scared of, right?
yeah,
After shutting down the last atomic reactors, that
mhm,
we talk a lot about these blackout periods that could happen
exactly.
now. Yeah, so
Sure.
that shows exactly your point
Mm.
that we are very used to this.
Exactly. So all these things are taken for granted, and for us is a luxury, right? So for India, where I come from, and the cities, majority of the cities, I guess, it's pretty normal for you to not having the electricity for 1 hour, 2 hour in the summer days. So in the big cities, it's even for more hours. Of course, we have inverters and whatnot, so that's a different part of the game. But still, it's not taken for granted for us. 24/7 electricity is a luxury for us, and then 24/7 drinkable potable water is a luxury for millions of Indians in different part of the world, right? So and it's taken for granted. So these things, as soon as you come to a different country, right, you start to realize, wow, man, this is so cool, and automatically you want to give something back to the society. You won't be, you're like thinking it proactively, I guess, but you just start to make it happen. And I think that's a value addition for any economy, I guess.
So you're happy because us Germans, right, we're always very, very moody
Yeah.
and don't like things, and we like to complain a lot,
Yeah.
but it's refreshing. You seem happy.
100%. I mean, I'm happy, and that's the whole reason why I'm also promoting for many people to come to Germany. If I'm not happy, if I'm not satisfied, then you would usually not do, right? Yes, of course, there are also many people who I know of who's also immigrants that they complain, but if you take the ratio, then I think it's very minimal, I would say.
Thank you for the interview, Chandra. If people want to learn more about Destination Germany or how you can help, how can people find you?
Sure. So our website is called destinationgermany.de. So there is no gap between destination and Germany. It's just the straight name, destinationgermany.de. So this is our website, and people can check us out there. And the other way to reach out to me personally, where I'm the one who is the contact person when it comes to the international recruiting, is best way to reach out to me in LinkedIn, because I'm super active there, and my main aim is to like provide as much right information as possible to the international immigrants. And if you, and the link, I think you'll be sharing in the description, so that's where also the place where they can reach out to me.